Welcome to 5 Minute Pitch. I'm your host, Liz Saunders. 5 Minute Pitch is the competition that gives entrepreneurs from around the globe the opportunity to virtually pitch their business or product idea for the chance to win a grand prize of $50,000. This season, more than 30 entrepreneurs will pitch their ideas via Zoom conference call to our panel of 5 experts for the chance to advance to the finals and pitch to the judges live in Miami, Florida. Our panel of expert judges includes Greg Mercer, 8-figure Amazon seller and the founder and CEO of Jungle Scout. Michael Jackness, a serial entrepreneur who has spent the past few years building a high 7-figure e-commerce conglomerate while blogging and podcasting about all of it along the way at EcomCrew. Steve Chu, the son of 2 tiger parents, Steve Chu started 2 7-figure businesses while working full-time as an engineering director. He now runs Bumblebee Linens and MyWifeQuitHerJob.com. Scott Voker, a serial entrepreneur who went from a construction worker to building multiple 6- and 7-figure businesses. He is also the host of the Amazing Seller Podcast, a top-rated business podcast that has over 12 million downloads to date. Today we are joined by guest judge Andrew Udarian. Andrew has started and sold multiple e-commerce businesses and is the founder of eCommerce Fuel, a private community for 7-figure plus e-commerce sellers. Coming up on 5 Minute Pitch.
I thought we were looking at some weed or something when I opened the box, but I realized we were talking about tea.
When I first told my wife that I was buying a couple of kilos of Kenyan gold, what I was getting into. I would like to introduce you now to SOMO tea and teaware.
I think the key is going to be people tasting it. That would be a strategy to do for sure, because if you can't get this into people's hands to try it, then you're just another tea.
Today we are joined by Steve Walker, creator of SOMO Tea. Steve is selling a variety of delicious organic teas coupled with a brand that will help people learn about different types of teas that are available, where they come from, and how to make them as a means to grow his business. Welcome, Steve. This is 5 Minute Pitch.
Hey guys.
Steve, how's it going?
Hey, how's it going, Steve?
Awesome.
I thought we were looking at some weed or something when I opened the box, but I realized we were talking about tea.
When I first told my wife that I was buying a couple of kilos of Kenyan gold, what I was getting into.
Welcome to the 5 Minute Pitch. Your time starts now.
I would like to introduce you now to SOMO tea and teaware, my loose leaf tea specialty startup, where we carry specialty loose leaf tea and teaware, or the tools that you need to make a great cup of tea. Our vision statement is we search the planet for the best loose leaf tea and teaware to present to our customers who are passionate about great tea.
While enjoying a cup of tea with his wife one day, Steve overheard 2 people talking about how they wished they knew more about tea and how to make the good stuff. He realized that he wanted to not only provide great tea, but help people find it and make it as they please. Let's see how he plans to do it.
I have a degree in commercial photography, so I'm going to use that skill set to create a library of videos for tea. All of our teas, every single tea will have a video for it, where it comes from, how it's processed, what the flavor profile of it is. Each teaware will have a video attached to it. How big is it? How do you use it? How do you clean the darn thing? And then probably what I'm most excited about is tea travel. I want to go to the tea fields themselves, shoot the videos there, show them how the tea is picked, how it's processed, and show the customers where that product's coming from. Second is the Tea Explorer Kit. This is my gateway product into larger purchases of larger batches of tea and larger quantities of tea. This is a 50-cup Tea Explorer Kit, which will be a perfect product for Amazon too on getting started, showing a complete selection of 10 teas, taster selection, so they'll be able to try those out before they buy the bigger ones. And as you can see there, it does have that wonderful tea strainer. So it is a complete kit. How much tea can you make out of 4 ounces, 8 ounces, a pound of tea? Well, for a new tea drinker, that might be a little intimidating. So what we've done is packaged our tea in 10, 30, and 60 cup packages. So they'll be a little more comfortable in purchasing that tea and know what they're buying.
What a great idea. It sounds like Steve has a great plan in place for bringing new and veteran tea drinkers to a whole new tea experience. Let's hear a little more about the SOMO tea and teaware.
This is all we carry is specialty loose leaf tea, sourced from the major growing regions, Japan, China, India, Taiwan, and Sri Lanka, and of course in the Asian area. Single estate teas, but also organics. Anytime we can get those, the customers want them. The customers are demanding organics now. We can also get custom blends exclusive to SOMO tea. So that way it makes it a little harder to shop those particular products. Our gross margins for tea are about 60 to 80% on those packages. Our teaware, again, we go and travel to the International Houseware Show every year in Chicago. We look to source unique and artisan products not found in the big box stores. We don't want something you can go to Target or Bed Bath & Beyond and find. Drop shipping is also available for those products from the large manufacturers that we have. Gross margins are 30 to 50%. $50,000 allocation will fund a complete startup. I want to make SOMO Tea the next great e-commerce brand. With your $50,000 top prize, I can do that. With my business skill, with a product that is passionate, people are passionate about, and I'll be ready to roll. Thank you very much.
Awesome.
Great
you,
job,
Steve.
Thank you, Steve.
We'll be right back after a quick word from our sponsor.
Hey guys, Mike Jackness here with 5-Minute Pitch to talk to you about Zipify Pages, my favorite app in the Shopify App Store. Gone are the days with me having to sketch out a design on a piece of paper, give that to a graphic designer that takes a couple of days and thousands of dollars later, then get that PSD broken up into code with a programmer that goes into Shopify. I can now launch things in a matter of minutes, take what's in my head and put it right on the screen, and it's all thanks to Zipify Pages. So go to the Shopify App Store and check them out today.
It looks like Steve is stirring up a great company with his SOMO tea. Let's see what questions the judges have for him.
So tea is actually very competitive. And if you hadn't sent this to us, like I'm smelling it and it smells delicious, how would you convey the quality of your tea to someone who hasn't gotten a chance to touch it and try it?
I've got about 30 years of face-to-face experience in sales. So I've got to take that model and make it into e-commerce. And for me, it's just natural to jump in front of a video. Of course, no smell, but I can show them, intimately, this is where the product comes from. This is how you make a great cup of tea. This is what 3 grams of tea looks like when you put it in that tea mug.
On the sourcing, Steve, for the tea, you mentioned on the actual physical goods, you've got that fair you go to. When you source the tea, the margins seem good, but are you going to be going and sourcing all those in person? Is there a kind of a trade show of sorts like that where you can go to, or can you give me a sense of how you do that and how you curate the actual teas?
There are several major wholesalers of tea right here in the United States with ample supplies of that.
Are you going at it at a different angle, like maybe certain teas that are more for stress relief and more like, I'm trying to see a way of how you're going to differentiate rather than just being the next tea that handpicks and picks the best. And I love all that, but more of the purpose that it could serve, or, you know what I mean? Like that type of stuff. Have you thought, are you doing that now?
No, we're trying to probably look into getting into the specialties. We do not want to get into detox teas or, skinny teas, all this weight loss kind of stuff. That's not what we're looking for. We're looking to carry the top end teas, but we can get into things like the health and wellness side of it on the good side of that. So there are even individual niches that we can get into that way as well.
So just to be clear, because you're buying from wholesalers in the US, there's actually other companies that are selling the exact same tea as you are.
Possibly like an English breakfast tea, yes. English breakfast tea will be English breakfast tea from company to company.
While technically another company could be selling the same tea, Steve plans to differentiate his products by creating specialty blends that no one else would have, and creating special bundles that would change depending on the season. He would also use his video platform to explain all about the teas in order to stand out among the competition.
Steve, a couple of people have mentioned how competitive the market is, and it looks like you've got great teas, you're going to do great videos, but even still, a lot of this, I think, is, if not all of it's going to hinge on your ability to market, to somehow get in front of people and get their attention more so than other places. What would be your biggest strategy for trying to get attention for marketing this business?
I had $10,000 listed for list building.
One of the ways Steve wants to build his list and get his tea into the hands of consumers is by offering his tea for free plus shipping, running Facebook ads, Instagram ads, and more. This comes at a minimal cost to him, so it is a seemingly easy way to increase sales.
I think the key is going to be people tasting it. That would be a strategy to do for sure, because if you can't get this into people's hands to try it, then you're just another tea.
Is that part of your strategy right now, to go in to stores and actually set up booths and have people try this? Or is it purely an online play at this point?
No, completely online at this point. I mean, pop-up shops are option.
So what else do you have to do before you can start generating revenue? What else is kind of on the roadmap until your first sale?
The Tea Explorer package that you have right there in front of me is ready to go. I've got a source for the strainers, and then, of course, all of the teas can be sourced here in the United States. So that would be the very first package to go out to get money or to get income, I should say, to get that started.
Is this already ready to be sold? Like these are boxed up and ready to be sold? Or are these samples that are not ready?
That is a prototype.
Okay.
So with the $50,000, again, that is a complete startup for us. We've got the plan in place. We just need the funds to do it.
How much of that $50K goes towards like an initial inventory purchase?
For tea, we had it $10,000. For our tea ware, we had $3,000 because, again, a lot of that can be drop shipped. We had list building at $10,000, and then there was some administrative stuff after that as well.
Gotcha. What's the shelf life of the tea?
Probably 12 to 14 months.
Got it. Okay.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you so much, Steve.
Thank you.
Great job.
Great job.
Thank you, guys.
The judges seem to agree that this is a tough market to break into. Does Steve have what it takes to move on to the deliberation round? Let's find out.
We used to own coffee.net, so I have background in coffee, and we also were looking at tea at one point, because it's like one of these markets that's so deep, and if you can get traction, the potential is pretty incredible. But as we were looking at it, I realized just how much headwind there is, and I ultimately couldn't figure out like what our unique selling proposition would be to like really differentiate ourselves in this market that was already so well established. And I see a lot of the same problems here, where it's going to be difficult to get the packaging and the supply chain and the marketing and like the adoption. I see a lot of headwinds.
Steve's pitch was pretty interesting. I liked the marketing channel of using TV, his YouTube channel, where he's talking about tasting different teas and making the different teas and visiting the farms that these teas were grown on. I can see that being very successful, but he hasn't proven himself there yet. From what I understand, he doesn't have any of these videos so far up, but I think that he's off to a good start there. The business has good margins, and I think that Steve has a good understanding of storytelling within a brand to really use that to like propel its marketing. All that being said, it's probably going to be a fairly good bit of time to kind of like really get this business off the ground to where it's doing well.
It's going to be really hard to buy something like that online without actually, tasting it. And the other fact that they're sourcing everything in wholesalers in the US kind of implied that there's other brands selling the exact same tea, right? And so it all comes down to me based on his ability to market the tea. And he didn't really have a track record of content, at least to prove to me that he could actually pull it off. So I was a little bit ambivalent.
Yeah, this is a really hard one. I really love Steve. He's buying wholesale from U.S. distributors that, like you said, the other people have access to, and so that's tough. You got to be an incredibly good storyteller, an incredibly good content marketer to make that work.
You guys pretty much said a lot of what I was thinking. I think the biggest play here for him is he's actually taking people along on the journey with him as he discovers more teas and the education and the different places, but that's going to be a process. That's going to be a lot of time. I think it's doable, but it's going to be a commitment. It's going to be a longer journey, but you have to get it in people's hands so they can smell it and then they can taste it. So let's go ahead and vote.
I'm a no. Again, the potential thing, I put a lot into that, so I was kind of a yes on that part of it. But I feel like for this brand, it's a little bit early. I would want to see some traction, some numbers to make me feel comfortable that the 50K that we're going to award as a prize can help fuel a business with reasonable chance of success. And I don't see those components here, so I have to vote no.
If Steve showed up to today's pitch with some pretty solid like YouTube videos already created, where he had already been like showing how they farm these teas and how they make them and everything else, I would have voted him yes, because I feel like that's the only thing missing. But he is still a little early stage. He hasn't really proven with himself too much. It's still a little early for me, as it sounds like it is for Mike, so I'm going to vote no.
I agree. This is a pure marketing play, and I just didn't have enough information to make a decision. So for that reason, I say no also.
Love Steve, and if it was another market, it would probably be much more likely. But with the tea market being as competitive as it is, I have to say no.
I just think early, just too early. And like Greg said, if you came in and said, I've got this YouTube channel started, I've got this plan laid out of how I'm going to kind of do these testings and bring awareness and stuff, I think I would have jumped into the yes. But I think at this stage we are a little early, so I'm going to say no on this one. So,
all right, buddy. Sorry, man.
Yeah.
But, I'm going to enjoy the tea.
Yeah, and keep grinding. Brutal. Keep grinding and just just continue doing what you're doing and just keep moving. But get out there and make it happen.
Prove us wrong.
Come back next season.
Yeah.
Thank you for your pitch, Steve, and good luck with SOMO Tea. Next time on 5 Minute Pitch.
It took me 150 months, over 700 breakdowns, until I declared that I would rid myself of PMS. And guess what? I did. The product and the method that I'm pitching is the solution to all premenstrual symptoms. And in my opinion, world peace. And at a minimum, inner peace.
I've never ever experienced PMS symptoms from my spouse. But that being said, you had me at PMS Cure.